All right, perfect. So our next gentleman was definitely talked about a lot, all over. You know, there's clips of you on TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook. I don't even go on Facebook, but I seen it on Facebook. So, Brian, you already know we're talking about you.
Right.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your journey on Pop the Balloon.
How many kids you got?
I got 3.
You got 3?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have 3.
You got 3 baby daddies.
Yes.
Okay. How many kids you have?
I have 2.
How many baby daddies?
2.
2? Okay. So you didn't think after the first one that you wanted to marry the next one?
No.
No? How many
And
kids
your
you
preference? I have 3.
You have
25,
three?
18, and 12.
Okay. How many baby daddies?
2.
2. Okay. So it's no disrespect towards that, right? But I just want you to understand, when it comes to a man of top tier, right? We give you a few from one man. That's it. If you have multiple from a different man, that disqualifies yourself.
So it disqualifies a top tier woman from getting a top
That's
tier.
exactly.
So it
From a different man, that disqualifies yourself.
So it disqualifies a top tier woman from getting a top
That's
tier
exactly
man.
right. Why? Because there's billions of women on this planet.
All right, Brian. So you came out episode 15. I was like, Brian, what are some of your deal breakers? You said you don't have not one, not any. But as we saw, as you went down the line, you did have a deal breaker, and that was women that have multiple baby daddies.
Right?
So, you know, what do you, is that something you came out knowing, or?
Of course I came out knowing, but for that right person, I will compromise for that, right? And I think every man will compromise for that if they come in with multiple kids for multiple different men, right? Okay. We gotta like them like that. That was my deal breaker, but like I said on the show, then I would extend grace for somebody that I'm feeling like that. So that's what that was.
Okay. So then, why is that something you didn't say like up front when I was like, oh, what's your deal breaker?
Because after listening to the women, I don't know which one I was gonna like. You know, as far as their responses, who I was gonna attract or, you know, pull energy from. So I didn't really know who I was gonna feel until I heard what they had to say. So that's that grace part right there, right? So even if they had multiple different kids from multiple different men, if I still like them like that, I would accept that, like real men do.
Okay. So you're kind of saying like you didn't want to say that just in case one of them popped on you?
All of them would have popped if I said that.
He was testing the waters.
Yeah.
But he was giving nobody grace. Why are you saying
Well,
grace?
I mean,
You were giving no grace.
even though that
weren't
we talked, me and this guy earlier, we was joking around. He said nothing wrong. Like, it devalues the woman when you go through multiple men and have multiple baby daddies. We don't want to deal with that. If you got 3 kids and 3 baby daddies, it's like, damn, your decision-making skills are horrible.
Y'all forget.
Okay.
I got to speak on that real quick before I let the young lady speak. So this is the thing, right? Fellas, we have to understand how kids, first of all, we have to remember how kids are even made, all right? A lot of times, kids aren't made out of planning. Now, I mean, and it's easy for us to say, because a lot of women, they just get pregnant. I mean, they get pregnant in a relationship that end. You could have your first kid when you're really young, when you're like 19, like me. Now, I mean, yeah, that was a mistake. Clearly, you didn't plan to have a kid at 19. Then you get into a real relationship. You are married for the next 6 years. This person starts swinging on you. So, of course, you have to leave this person, even though that was a solid relationship. Now, I mean, you was married, then they just turned on you. Then, of course, you shouldn't have to stop at 26. Now, I mean, all because you have 2 baby daddies. You shouldn't have to stay in a relationship all because you have 2 baby daddies. You don't want to have a third. Now, you should still be, ladies should still be able to live their life. Circumstances matter. Now, I mean, context matters. So when y'all just say y'all wouldn't date a woman that has kids or whatever, has multiple baby daddies, context matters. How did those situations happen? Like, now, I mean, were you in relationships? Were you married before? What went wrong in the marriages? Like, you know, those things matter. Because, again, if a woman was 19 years old, you meet her at 40, right? You can't judge that woman based off of what happened to her when she was 19. And then if she made a good decision after that to get married and something happened and then she got divorced, and then try it again. You can't be mad that these relationships are panning out bad. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean she has bad decision making. Bad decision making to me is you throwing the box around and you letting anybody just put a baby in you. Now, I mean, and then now you here in front of me and you trying to get married. Now, that I'm gonna judge you. But if it's just like, all right, you know, you was in relationships or whatever, it didn't pan out how you expected, but you had the person's kid, not everybody's okay with having an abortion. And for fellas, I feel like we kind of throw abortion around so easily, not considering how women feel about that, because they have to live with it. We don't. Know what I mean? So not all women are okay with that. Know what I mean?
Hey, y'all are the ones who
And
play
then,
right there.
and then y'all forget that I'm 41 years old. I got a 25-year-old child. So you're basing your perception of me from 25 years ago.
Come on.
I'm not that person I'm not that kid that I was 25 years ago.
Speak on
and
it.
I'm not that young adult that I was 25 years ago. I've grown from that. I've healed from that. I now make better choices, better decisions.
Right.
And I live more of a healthy love life, you know,
Right.
than I did then. So you're gonna tell me, oh, well, you got this many kids, I can't date you.
No,
oh,
it's
but
not-
that happened 25 years
it's
ago.
not the number of
At what
kids.
point are you going to give grace? Like, at how long are you going to, I don't want to use the word punish, you know, for lack of better words, a woman for her past?
It's
Like
not the-
Brian came out and said, I don't judge.
I feel like context really matters in those situations. Like, you can't sit here and just all out judge this woman because she has kids. Like, some of the most driven people have kids because they actually have something that they're working for, working towards. They have a bigger purpose. My question would be, how's your relationship with your baby daddies? You know what I mean? Like, how's your relationship with your baby daddy? Same thing for ladies. How's your relationship with your baby moms? You know what I mean? Like, my wife, she met me, and I had at the time, my daughter was only 7. Like, I had a 7-year-old. But my life and me having you know, a child or whatever outside of my marriage, you know, before us, doesn't affect my wife in any way. You know what I mean? We also have a son together. You know, we still have our house together. Like, I'm very transparent when it comes to, you know, the mother of my child. You know, those things matter. Like, what's the situations like? How did it pan out? Because I know some really good women that have multiple baby dads or whatever, and it was really the guys that they chose was wrong. They should not have chose those guys, but that does not take away what kind of woman she actually is. You know what I mean? And these are all kids that were born out of a relationship. So can you judge her and call her a hoe, dumb, anything like that? No.
Judge a woman from their past,
then
you know, we all
judge.
make mistakes, and then he basically just flat out judged.
That's the gentleman's preference. We're not judging you for how many kids. It's
Yeah.
how many baby fathers you got. If you
Okay.
get with a guy, and I'm 40 years old per
Yeah.
se, and I have 8 kids by 6 different women,
Yeah.
that says something.
And then everybody's situation is different.
That
Like
part.
4
we all
kids
have
and
different
4 baby
circles.
daddies?
But that's not
3
what
kids
it
and 3
was.
baby
I have
daddies?
my children. I have by 2 different men, and I was in a 12-year relationship that was abusive. I escaped that by God's grace. I give thanks every day. And so when I moved on to the next relationship, I'm just looking for something better than what I had. And just because it was better doesn't mean it was for me. So when I realized this isn't for me, you know, should I marry this man just because society is going to look at me like I'm a failure as a mother or as a woman? Or no, should I keep going and look for what is really for me? I'm
I'm
not going to
having
say
kids
that
by
I've
this
made
man?
all the best decisions as a young adult. I never said I made the best decisions.
And that's
but
what we're referring to, the
Yeah.
decision-making skills.
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think about it. Like,
But here's the thing to what he's saying though. She just gave a perfect example. I tried, but it didn't work out or whatever. Am I supposed to just marry this person? If a kid pops up on you, that does not mean you have to marry somebody. Like, and he's saying decision-making skills as if we don't know that most people that are walking this earth, your parents did not plan for you to be here. Whether they were married, single, or just girlfriend and boyfriend. Kids happen most of the time. Now, I mean, can we take precautions? Most definitely. But let's be honest, none of us are perfect. kids happen. Now the alternate the pushback that somebody will give is, get an abortion. It's not that easy. Yeah, I mean, for women to just get an abortion, they have to live with that. Now, I mean, I'm not a woman, so I can never tell a woman to get an abortion. Now, I mean, I can talk through whatever the situation is, but I can't sit here and tell you to get an abortion, or you're dumb that you didn't. Now, I mean, yeah, man. Like, and then another thing is, we're kind of putting this we're putting this pressure on women to get it right every time. When it's like, fellas, we're not with most of the women that we've slept with. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. Like, but we don't speak on that. We don't sit here and we don't stay with those women. Now, if those women had STD, if they would have got pregnant, are we stupid? Nah, we kind of rolling the deck every time. You don't really know. You know what I mean? You kind of playing it like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Granted, you can protect yourself, but again, nobody's perfect in these decisions. It's just sometimes a kid comes out of the decisions. Now, I mean, and we can't put all of that pressure on the woman. You know, context matters. What? Oh, I can't hear it. Oh.
Kills.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's now, yeah, that's in the past. So you're not gonna meet a woman and she tell you she stole a candy bar at 14 years old. Oh no, I can't do that. I don't do thieves.
She's always a thief.
Yeah, she was a kid. She made a mistake. She ate that, and the candy bar is gone. So in my situation, I feel like I ate that. I ate that relationship that I went through. I ate being a young teenage parent. I ate it. Like the young kids say, you ate. I feel like I ate. I've grown from that. I'm not that person that I was.
The relationship
so why?
is awesome, but the key, you're bearing the man's children.
All right. So, Janae, when you were having, your conversation with Brian during that segment, what was going through your mind when he's asking you all these questions like, okay, how many baby daddies, how many kids? What was your thought process? Like, if you want to walk us through that.
I'm true to my core. I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm not ashamed of my 3 kids. And if I wouldn't have the 3 baby daddies, I wouldn't have my 3 amazing kids. Mm-hmm. I don't allow him and his judgment to define me as a woman or where I stand on today. It's his preference. He deserves a queen of whatever that looks like for Brian. But for me, you have to accept me as a whole with a 4 unit. So it's either, are you even equipped to hold down this fort? Mm-hmm. You can't judge me. I didn't take anything personally. I talked to Brian afterwards. I said, I don't take anything personal. I'm not mad at you. It is what it is. It's
a
my
preference.
person is my person. You know what I'm saying? But like, people don't know how to live in reality. They want to live into society, and it's fake to me. I'm not with it.
Okay. And then I think Shayna, you wanted to say
So
something.
one thing I do want to say, which I said to you earlier, we all have our preference, which is fine. You might like them tall, you might like them short, you might like them with the kids. Right. But I think it was just your delivery that really was kind of tough to watch. So that's all I had to share. We kind of chatted about it before. Everyone's entitled to what they like, but it's just the way you were speaking to the ladies, which was kind of harsh.
So speaking on that, Brian, do you feel like you could have delivered your message in a different way?
I think I wanted to deliver it the way I did, right?
Okay.
Because
Standing on
if I'm coming on some softness, you're not gonna really grasp what I'm telling you.
That's not. Yes.
Right? And the thing about accountability is you want me to deliver it the way you want to hear it. Okay. Nah, the truth hurts. The truth hurts.
Let me just say this right now. If this man, and I said this in my long form video, I'm repeating a lot of things just in case y'all have seen that video. That's never gonna work out in a relationship, because again, just like I said in my long form video, whatever, when I reacted to this whole video, if my lady walk in and I be like, yo, babe, like, I know your style, and I don't think those shoes match the outfit the way I think you would usually want to portray yourself, in public or whatever. I don't think it go with it as much as, like as you wanted to or whatever, because I know you can dress or whatever. I know your style, so you probably want to go with the brown ones instead. Instead of me saying, Yo, those, nah, not those. Those do not look good. Go, you should put on the brown ones. Nah, those right there are trash. Put on the brown ones instead. That does not match. Two things could be true. You know what I mean? I'm still saying this. I mean, not two things could be true. I'm still saying the same thing, but how I'm giving the message definitely plays a huge part on how she's gonna receive my message. Now, I mean, so no, you can't in a relationship, you cannot just say it just because it's the truth. That's something I had to grow out of. You cannot just say something because you know that this is facts. No, there's a way you have to say it. Now, I mean, you can't be out here speaking in a hurtful way with an honest message, expecting just to get for your partner to just receive the honest message. No, they're also gonna reply to the aggression. Know what I mean? So that's never gonna work in a relationship. Learn how to articulate yourself in a relationship to where the message can get across, but feelings are not hurt through trying to be too aggressive. Cause the truth is the truth. No. Especially if you're a man talking to a woman. A man talking to a man, now that's different. But a man talking to a woman, no. You need to learn how to filter that.
You got to be able to embrace that. We as men, we embrace accountability. And women have to do the same exact thing and not get angry.
I'm not saying that a woman is not supposed to embrace accountability, but there's a way, again, that you're supposed to articulate it.
Accountability. I'm not
and
angry.
Feel like men are aggressive.
I'm not
and
being
feel like
aggressive.
men are aggressive when they're delivering what they're trying to say. Like, no, I wasn't disrespectful on the show, right? And maybe I could have delivered it a little bit softer. But
And
that's
then
not
James,
the route that I chose.
you wanted to say something?
Brother, the way you've
Hold
been
on
talking.
1 second. James is going to go.
I wanted to say something about that. I understand both sides. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I don't care if a female has a starting lineup. You know what I mean? Like, I've dated girls that have multiple kids, you know, and I think that men think one of two ways. One is like, okay, you made horrible decisions. And then the other downfall could be, you know, these are extra mouths to feed or bills, you know. And for me, I love kids, you know.
She's making all of these faces. She's the one with 3 baby daddies and 3 kids. And let me just say this. You making all of these faces, but you have to understand when a man, some men are out here dating with that, okay, I can afford me, I could afford a household, and I could afford one other person, my woman. You know what I mean? And then we'll work up to the point where we can afford to have kids. That's a real thing. I know social media like kind of makes it seem like everybody, like if I could afford a woman, then I can afford a family. Like, no, there's a time for all of that. Just like when you have when you're a man with a roommate, you don't really have money to afford to live with your girl too. You know what I mean? Just like when you live with your girl, you don't always have money to afford to have kids too. So when a man is dating and he finally finds a woman and he finds out she has kids, he has to consider, can I afford to feed her kids too? That is a thing. If that's not something that he has to do or he has it in his budget to do, that's not something to tear a man down for. That's just real life. You know what I mean? But you would be mad if you get in a relationship with a man and now he can only take care of you and he's not feeding your kids. You know, you'd be like, oh, well, we're a package deal. Okay, well, a man has to see if he can afford that package deal, especially if he wants to be a complete provider for you.
You know, like, I'm a kids person, so I don't mind dating a woman that has kids. So that's all I wanted to say is like.
Can I say something? Brian, I don't think your delivery was 100% wrong, but there is a difference between you as a type of man and there's another type of man. There's 2 different types of men. It's your preference, and it's a man that knows that he comes into this world to be a leader, protector, provider, who also knows that you're going to take care of a family as a whole. It doesn't matter if they're your kids or it takes a village to raise these kids. I didn't take any judgment, but if you prefer a woman with 1 kid or you want some more with more kids, that's on
fine.
you. You're just not my person, and I'm not mad at you. And I'm not even mad at the world. And I don't give a fuck about anybody. If we can keep it G. You know, I take care of my kids. They're well taken care of. I'm an independent woman. And I deserve a strong man who's ready to take care of a household. Not saying that that's not you or no other man in this world. Everybody got their own opinion. And I respect you 100%. It is what it is.
That is factual. What she said is factual. But I would just want to say this. She can't try to make it seem as if there's like some top tier guy out there that's better than him. Granted, I'm not saying that this is like the best guy out there, nothing. I'm just saying, like, just because a man does not choose you because you have a kid does not mean that he's not top tier or he's not this man that's ready to take care of a family. It's just whether or not he wants to do that with you and with your circumstance. That does not diminish what kind of man he is, because again, preferences. Men are allowed to have preferences just like y'all. It seems like women get mad at men for having preferences. Now, I mean, there's another guy in this group or whatever where he was kind of talking about weave and stuff, but I'll speak on that video. I mean, I'll do another video for that. But all the ladies got mad at him. But all of the ladies will get up here and look at a man straight in their face and say, nah, I can't date you. You're too short. That's your preference, and I can never change that. Granted, I'm 6'2", but I'm just saying, like, they can never change that. But y'all will boldly say that to a man's face, and we can't bat an eye. But when a man gives his preference, now you got to make him feel like, oh, he's lesser of a man. I gave the reason why men shouldn't look at women like that. But if a man feels like that and that's his preference, he's entitled to that.
Wait, hold on. And I respect that. I appreciate that, right? It's going to be a special type of man that's going to come in and take care of you and your unit. That's going to take care of you and your unit, right? Because most men want to start their own family, all right? Sure. You know what I'm saying? So why would we come in and be a stepdad when we know if you have 3 kids, then I'm going to be the 4th? You're going to look at me like the 4th, even if I'm taking care of the house, right? No. Because they're not mine.
Because you're not a baby daddy or a husband. You're not going to be a baby daddy.
You're the head of household. It's a difference.
I understand that, but I'm not their real father, right? So I'm not their biological father, right? So, and things come with that, right? It comes with, you may feel like, you know, I'm not raising your sons right.
Or you can't.
I'm going to dead this right now. I had a baby daddy that told me in front of my child, I am not his daddy. I don't need a nigga like that. And I said nigga.
You don't want one.
I need a man who knows who's going to come into a whole house. He's going to take mine as his. He's going to take me as his partner. It's one, honey. When you find a wife, you find a good thing. I'm not living into society or social media. This show, and I appreciate you guys, because this is real life. You show me the real deal. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to say too much more, but you know,
if you guys were to get together, hypothetically speaking.
Who?
Yeah, I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Just hypothetically, you and Brian.
You and Brian. If you and Brian were to get together, hypothetically speaking, can he put his hands on your children?
What? Put his hands on my children?
That's a real question. Yes.
Let's word that a little.
Well, we know what we're talking about. I mean, Brian, you understood what I was saying, correct?
Correct.
If your kids is acting up, can he whoop your kids? Like he would whoop his own son?
If they need it.
Why did everybody just say what like that? That's there's certain conversations you can't have with certain people. Like, because they're just too childish to really open up their eyes. Look at the amount of what? Look, especially this one right here. I don't know how he's dealing with her. I have no idea. But why are you so confused? And it's like nobody understood what hands on a child meant. Anytime we say, I'm going to put hands on you, that doesn't mean touching. That means I'm disciplined. Like, y'all should know what the hell that meant. Like, why is that such a far off question? If you're dating somebody with kids, am I allowed to put hands on them? Now, I mean, if they acting out of whack, am I allowed to put? That's a real conversation. Why are y'all whatting? This is grown folks that's replying like this. Look at this.
Put his hands on my children.
Hypothetically, you and Brian.
You and Brian. If you and Brian were to get together, hypothetically speaking, can he put his hands on your children?
What?
These two. The only ones. And mind you, if y'all go back and watch their episodes, they're the most, like, I don't really think I want to deal with either of y'all. If y'all know her, y'all know. If y'all watch her, like, you know what I mean, her little facial expressions and stuff, you will see what kind of, I'm not dealing with that. Y'all the only ones that's confused. Nobody else batted an eye. Everybody else understood that.
Put his hands on my children.
That's a real question.
Let's word that a little.
Well, we know what we're talking about. I mean, Brian, you understood what I was saying, correct?
Correct.
If your kids is acting up,
Yeah.
can he whoop your kids?
If
Like he
they
would whoop
need
his
it.
own son?
If they need it.
Uh,
I mean, let's be real.
You just
This
have
ain't
to
about
be
that, but let's be
if,
real.
if you're gonna whoop somebody else's kids, you just got to be ready for that repercussion.
The afterward.
Exactly. What
You
comes
feel me?
after that? Because as a father, nobody's gonna whoop my kids.
Exactly.
But if
barely whoop my
I am the
kids.
step parent of somebody else's kids, I'm a whoop them.
But you're not
and
gonna
I
whoop 'em for
understand
nothing.
that's
can't whoop your
double.
kids, but
no,
it's different
because
ways to discipline
I'm ready
Thank
to fight
you.
for mine.
whooping them.
Thank
I'm
you.
ready
I
to
got a
fight for
5-year-old.
mine. So
My son has never had a whooping.
listen, I'm ready to fight
Ever.
for mine, so I'm going to check you on that. And if dude wanted to check me on that, he has that
Yes.
right. And that's all I'm saying.
And,
is
no,
you
and
gotta-
those are the issues that
It's the
we
way to
deal.
do
And
it.
those are the issues that we deal with being a step parent. Like, and
Those
another
are the
thing that I want to
insecurities.
address is that, like Brian,
insecurity.
I've been hearing you talk since we've been here all day. Like your demeanor hasn't changed. So I want to say, like, I don't think that you were aggressive at all. I think that you were being you, and I appreciate that
Exactly.
authenticity that
Exactly.
you have been bringing. And I still got
Appreciate that.
and I still got a couple more jokes in the back of my head for your ass too.
Okay, y'all, let's wrap this up. And so Chanel, you were like the queen of facial expressions.
I was.
And everyone was showing you like I was getting tagged all over Instagram like, look at this woman, like she's making all the faces. And I feel like most of it was during Brian's segment. So let's take a look at all the faces you were making.
That disqualifies yourself.
So it disqualifies a top tier woman.
But you're
Yeah.
judging me on the fact that I have the choice.
No, I'm not judging you. That just means that I'm not for you. If you're gonna judge me because my second baby daddy didn't work out for me, then I'm not for you. You know, so I'm not judging
And I
you and your
understand that.
opinion
How many
and
kids
your
you have?
preference. I have 3.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
I appreciate it.
but you,
She said period.
Yeah, a grown ass woman saying period. Hell no. But yo, listen. That's the video. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all, enjoyed my little talking pieces or whatever, as well as, what I reacted to. If y'all enjoyed my reaction videos, please subscribe. I'm trying to build this account up. I do have another account, but this account is more for the grown folks. I think I built up the wrong subscriber crowd on my main channel. So I'm just trying to build this channel up on people that like to have real conversations about real stuff that's going on. And if you like that and you want to support me, just subscribe. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. But hey, man, it's been your boy Ty Boogie. Until next time, man, I'm out of here.